China. Welcome to my garden. Today I'm going to harvest some Swiss chard. Such an easy, wonderful plant to grow, and I have a great way that I like to use it, and I make this dish once a year, and it's really good, but it's not real healthy, so no thumbs downs please for the not healthy meal, but sometimes you got to have something good, and just don't make it all the time. I call it sausage and gravy, and so I'm going to go ahead and clip off a couple of these little leaves here, and that's all I'll need really for this, because I already have some dried tomatoes, and I'm rehydrating those in my house right now. And I went to the farm yesterday and I picked up some sausage. So this is what I call sausage and gravy. I think I'll get some carrots too. Just removing the casings on the sausages and shaping them into small sausages. I want to go ahead and fry these up in the cast iron skillet in a little bit of grapeseed oil and get them nice and crispy. With the carrots, I'm not going to really do much with them. I just want to slice them, and I'm going to simmer them in some salted water, and I'll toss them in a little bit of butter and honey and salt when they're finished. Now with the Swiss chard leaves, I'm going to cut the rib out, so I like to turn them over, and then on the back side run my knife down the side of the rib there, the big stem actually, and this will make it a lot easier to wrap around the sausages. The stem gets very tough when the leaves get this big. Okay, so I'm just going to make a little simple white sauce, a really easy thing to make, and you can be real creative with it. And so how you make it, if you've not made it before, is you just melt a little bit of butter, maybe 1 or 2 tablespoons of butter, depending on how much sauce you want, and then start to sift in some all-purpose flour, and then whisk it. And what you're going to do is whisk it until it reaches a nice pasty consistency. You know, I think my measurements here were probably about 2 tablespoons of melted butter to about 4 tablespoons of sifted all-purpose flour. But what I really want you to see here is just the consistency that we're looking for, and not so much the measurements, because really it's just butter and flour. So once it reaches a real thick consistency, you want to let it cook on about medium-low heat there and keep whisking it, but you want to cook it for about 3 or 4 minutes to get the pasty flour taste out of it. Okay, because if you go ahead and add your milk now, you're going to have it tasting very much like flour. Okay, so let's cook it a little bit before you add your milk. And I added 1 cup of milk very slowly, just a little bit at a time, whisking it as I added it, so that it'll be nice and smooth. And I do recommend you use a whisk to do this. It makes it a lot easier, not a fork. Try to use a whisk. And then you can just add what kind of seasonings you want. So I'm using a little bit of Parmesan cheese and a little bit of fresh grated nutmeg and about a tablespoon of sun-dried tomatoes that I had rehydrated earlier that day. And then it was still a little bit thicker than I preferred, so I went ahead and added a little bit more milk, because you want it kind of more of a sauce consistency. Okay, and my carrots were done, so I drained the water out of those, and I melted a little bit of butter in there and a little bit of honey and some salt, and then they were done. And then so were my sausages. They were crisped up nicely, so I went ahead and removed those and drained them on a paper towel. And then it was time to get the Swiss chard leaves ready, which only take a minute once you've got your water going. So I just put my leaves in there and I cooked them for about a minute until they were nice and soft. You know, I think I just get so tired of eating my greens, like my kale and my Swiss chard, with beans. And I love sausage so much. It's just a fun way, I think, to eat your greens, is to just wrap some sausage inside it. The sausage is so good, isn't it? Okay, so now we'll just wrap up our little sausages right in our greens here. And if you didn't want to go through the trouble of making a sauce or something, you could probably put a little bit of cheese inside these little greens here. I think that might work. I don't know, I've not done it before. And then it's time to eat. So I went ahead and poured my sauce out and put my little sausages right on top. I also crisped up some toast earlier, so I went ahead and ate it with that, so I have a little bit of crunch. And the nutmeg is just really, I think, a fun flavor to put in different kind of things, and especially in this sauce. So I had some nutmeg going on in there and a little bit of the sun-dried tomatoes. It just all made it so good. I like to usually eat something that's spicy, like a sausage in a creamy sauce. Something with some dairy in it, maybe with some cheese or something. I think it just makes, it really brings out the spices. It kind of mellows them, but it makes them really good too. So that's how I like to eat spicy foods, is with something creamy like a cheese or a sauce like this. So hopefully you can give this a try. Thanks for watching. Have a beautiful day.